Greetings. Today we will be reviewing another of the Red Smeg character bios. Today we will be looking into the extremely powerful being known as Eoskle, who somehow managed to acquire the Chuck piece. So, let us begin. Ever since Skitty crafted the universe, Eoskle's fate was set in stone. As a young man, Eoskle would visit many locations around the old western lands of Kendall. One location was Nugget Ranch, which he visited with a group of campers. Unfortunately, this camp was owned by the Buckle brothers. Let's just say that none of the campers made it out alive that night, except for Eoskle, who was exploring Nugget Cave with his allies and got pushed further into the depths of Nugget Cave. This is where he would contract the Podzol Virus, which would completely change the trajectory of his life. Upon contracting the Podzol Virus, he experienced a gradual deterioration of his cognitive abilities, but he is under the impression that he has improved instead. Despite his prolonged battle with the Podzol affliction, he managed to suppress its effects for a few years. During the initial attack on his compound by the original lab man, his Podzol affliction was somewhat reset, leading to the discovery that the Podzol's weakness is a concoction of moonshine, combined with a variety of ingredients allowed him to temporarily stave off the virus's progress. Now, how did he acquire this compound, you may ask? It was provided to him by Skitty himself. This is because Eoskle managed to actually defeat Jimmy Chuckle, which is arguably one of the strongest Podzol users. It is very clear that Eoskle is a near-perfect host for the Podzol Virus, as he is provided with an array of abilities. Barry Buckle wanted to take advantage of said abilities, so he decided to reconcile with Eoskle and form an alliance to find a legendary artifact known as the Chuck piece. Somewhere along their journey to find this artifact, Eoskle fell to the scourge and betrayed his crew, including Barry Buckle. The rest was a blur, but from that moment, Barry declared war with Eoskle. Ever since, they have been grave enemies. Now, let's move on to Eoskle's power. Before acquiring the Chuck piece, Eoskle was still extremely powerful, fully capable of regenerating fatal wounds, strong enough to contend with both Buckle brothers at once, and also possessed the ability to withstand explosions at point-blank range. At this point, he was nowhere near as strong as Skitty, but after acquiring the Chuck piece, that would change. Getting the Chuck piece gave him a wide array of abilities, which I won't go into the specifics, but one of his greatest abilities was the power to dominate weaker entities by mind-controlling them. This was only recently declassified, but this is how he managed to acquire such a large army. He was also able to create life from the energy of the Chuck piece, which he used to create clones of Jim Mech. He also managed to banish Skitty from that timeline by severing the link between his celestial form and his corporeal form. And yes, I will admit this was a stealth attack, but it still shows how powerful he is. His final ability, I will disclose today, is his ability to create a new dimension. This pretty much sapped all the energy from the Chuck piece, but ensured a new universe in his design would flourish. That is, assuming Barry doesn't stop it. Eoskle is also fully trained in hand-to-hand combat and most firearms. He is also extremely intelligent, so he is a very formidable foe, even for the likes of Barry Buckle. Ever since the battle between Eoskle and Barry, he has not been seen. Who knows what happened? But one thing can be for sure. He left a mark on this world that will never be forgotten. Eoskle remains the dominant Podzol user in the entire world, owing in large part to the possession of the prestigious Chuck piece. If he was at full strength, the only individuals capable of defeating him alone are Skitty and Butterscotch. Unfortunately, their bios must be addressed at a later time. Another thing I should mention. The process of declassifying the Chuck piece has commenced, and we shall keep you informed of any relevant developments. For now, it is time to depart. Farewell.